world. My name is Jennifer Regular, and I am the Solar Illuminator at Lighting the Path and also a host of this podcast where I get to bring brilliant guests from all around the world who share their passion, their messages, their strengths to help to uplift humanity and raise the vibration of this planet. I call them brilliant because it was not always so easy for them. They found a way to move through their darkness, through their own inner work, and found a way to be able to express what their soul came here to be shared through their gifts to the world. And my guest today comes from New South Wales with just that. He is so sincere about his message and passionate about the kind of world that he envisions for all of us. His name is Jeffrey Glick. He's a trained counselor through the American Navy, and he became an active listener and was later invited to the Betty Ford Clinic in Palm Springs, USA, shortly after he finished his training. There he was invited as a professional in residence at the Betty Ford Clinic and has since then grown his keen interest and focus on mindfulness. Today, he joins me from Australia to discuss his passion around mindfulness as it gives so many benefits to mental health, to our wellness, especially our emotional wellness. So welcome, Jeffrey. It is so wonderful to have you here with us today, especially in the start of a whole new year. And the world is constantly evolving, changing. I mean, each day we start afresh, not just in the new year. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy and so excited to be here with you in the new year. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, I welcome all of the listeners and whoever is watching this today to tune in to what you're saying, because mindfulness is really about being fully present, to be actively listening and taking in what's being shared, because it's not just the words, is it, Jeffrey? It's also the energy behind the words and the tone that we set for our conversations with each other, our life, the way that we interact with the world, all comes through presence. That's really where transformation happens, I find. What was it in your path, along your path of enlightenment, say, that gave rise to this passion that you now have for mindfulness and mental wellness, and especially emotional wellness as well?
My experience of mindfulness has changed my life in so many ways, especially my reality of what my life is. So I can only tell you that mindfulness is the way through, in my opinion, for mankind to live in the present, to change their reality to positive from negative. And that's my experience, which I hope I'm going to share, which I am going to share with you through my time with you today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And so where did it really all start for you then, Jeffrey? What opened your eyes to this?
Well, can I begin with mindfulness and instant reality? So I would ask you a question, Jennifer. How is it that you are wearing the top that you are wearing today for this interview? Can I ask you, what are the circumstances you believe you are dressed the way you are dressed today?
Well, I choose for comfort and also for the color. I find each day I'm drawn to a particular color, whether that might be something that's meant for me or that's representative of the person that I might be talking to that they might need to see. And somehow I've tapped into that. Earlier, I was actually wearing a green sweater, a light green sweater. Today, and then before we met, I put on this white and kind of grayish sweater. And it wasn't really a conscious choice, but it's something that I was drawn to, something I wasn't even really thinking about.
All right. Well, look, I'd like to take a deeper dive into why you are wearing that jumper. Now, my belief is, you said I wasn't thinking about it. My belief is sometime through this morning or this evening where you are, you did have a thought about what I am going to wear. That thought must have entered your mind, and that thought has now created an instant reality. That is how your mindfulness, or if you think about it, you thought about you were wearing a green jumper, you told me. All of a sudden, now, look, I can guarantee you this, it's not magic. Well, it might be in your case. I don't want to say what it is for you, but in my case, I am wearing this top because I thought to myself, now I have to look presentable for this interview. I have to look nice. What am I going to wear? That was in my mind. So my mind has had a thought. From that thought, here we are, my reality. It's no accident. This didn't jump out of the wardrobe and just put itself on me. I thought about it. I'll go even further. I had that thought. My mind has then instructed my body. We are going to wear this. What are you going to do about it? So what does my body do? It makes all these chemicals. I have signals. I have pathways. All these magic things are happening. And then all of a sudden, my reality. Here it is, my reality. This is what I'm wearing. No accident. Can I move a bit forward onto another subject?
Yes.
Do you drink coffee, Jennifer?
On occasion.
All right. Let's select somebody that drinks coffee every morning. Let's and we'll go even further. Let's select a person that drinks coffee, and without that coffee, they feel they can't get started. My day's no good. So what happens? Sometime in the morning, or sometimes even the night before, they think tomorrow is coffee. That is the thought that they have. They wake up in the morning. What do they think? They are, whether it's subconscious or conscious thoughts, they are thinking, I need this coffee to begin my day. The mind then instructs the body. Now, with coffee, what happens? Coffee has got chemicals in it. It's got addictive caffeine. It's got other things in it. So all of a sudden, the mind's instructing the body, we need coffee. The body says, yes, you are right. We do need coffee. Some people, as I say, cannot get started without coffee. So what happens? The body confirms, without coffee, we are in trouble. We are going to be lethargic. We are not going to be able to get through today.
Right.
This is all just a thought, which is, once again, not even reality, because if they don't get that coffee, what will happen is the body becomes agitated. It wants the chemicals. It's been told we need coffee. All of a sudden, the coffee's not available. What happens? And this is with everything. The mind will start become agitated. The body will become agitated. All of a sudden, where are you? You're in a very, very dark place because you haven't had that what calms the agitation. Now, funnily enough, once you have coffee, what happens? Oh, life's just wonderful. Life is just fantastic. We're back to normal.
Yes.
It's not reality. It is what your mind thinks. Now, mindfulness, once being mindful of your thoughts, I have realized that coffee, it's not the reality. If my body doesn't get the chemicals, all I need to do is just wait 10 minutes for that, for all that agitation to pass. And once practicing that enough, coffee is no longer important. And I'm just giving one minor example of how your mind creates a reality that is not reality. It is just a lie. And I can give you many, many, many other. Everything your mind thinks. If you allow it to dictate what it thinks, it then directs the body to become agitated until you do something about this. Goes for alcohol. This goes for any type of drug. It goes for food. It goes for everything that you're involved in. It is what you think that is dictating your reality, and it is not real. It is a lie. Now, I hope that makes some type of sense, but that is my experience.
It is. And it reminds me too of being dependent on certain conditions that allow that kind of reality, to allow that kind of outcome. Those beliefs and thoughts, those conditions are, like you say, I must have this coffee in order for me to function throughout this day effectively. And if you don't have it, then it seems like it's all crumbling apart and not feeling like yourself without having that coffee. Or I've seen people leave their phone at home, for example, and they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it. They were already at work, doing their work, but they didn't have their phone, and they couldn't deal with it. They couldn't cope with not having that. It became a dependency, certain conditions that people needed to be holding or surrounding themselves by to feel like they can function, that they can be effective. And we can actually change that. By changing our conditions, we also change our reality. By changing our thoughts, changing our state, our emotional state, is actually what creates that transformation and creates that reality. As you were saying, with the thoughts of not having the coffee or suddenly having it, and then all of a sudden you're, yes, my cup of coffee. You have the warmth, you have the aroma, you have the taste, and you have those chemicals that are changing your body's function in the way that you're feeling. And coffee doesn't have the same effect on everyone, right? For some, it might make them agitated. For my sister, for example, it helps her sleep. It has almost the opposite effect of what most people think. So it's, yeah, all those conditions support us in different ways.
Could I even, I'd like to take it even further.
Sure.
You wake up in the morning, the day before you've argued with somebody. Might have been a friend, might have been a work colleague, might have been your wife. You wake up the following morning, all of a sudden, you start thinking about that argument, how rude they were, how offensive they were, how wrong they were about you and your position. So what happens? All of a sudden, the mind starts thinking, I won't choose a wife, but let's choose a wife. So you've argued about your wife, with your wife, about something. All of a sudden, she's not as, your thoughts become, she is not what I thought she was. She has not defended me, or she has done something that I don't agree with. So all of a sudden, the thought is, I'm angry with my wife. All of a sudden, the mind directs the body. He's saying, we're angry with the wife. Let's make chemicals and emotional chemicals to confirm that he's angry with his wife. Now, if that continues, if you're not mindful about this thought about anger towards wife, anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, you are soon going to be in a serious conflict with this person that you are thinking you're angry with. Now, if you're not mindful about that, in case of a wife, in the extreme circumstances, you're going to end up in a divorce court. Sooner or later, if those thoughts continue, if you are unaware that you are continually thinking about my wife, she has done this, the body will continue to make angry emotional chemicals. That's why you believe it's real. Now, some people, taking it to the extreme of the extreme, will then do what? They will then stalk their wife. After a separation, sorry, I don't want to jump too far ahead, they can start, let's try to take it a step at a time. They will become abusive to their wife. They might show physical violence to their wife simply because their mind has told them, I'm angry with you. It gets worse and it gets worse. And all of a sudden, here we are in an abusive relationship. If it gets really bad, if they are totally convinced about their wife, they will become abusive to their wife. And look, I'm just saying this happens. This is reality. Some people will, unfortunately, kill their wife in the end. I mean, it happens. Let's face reality.
I know people who've had, yes.
If you are not mindful about, all right, it started off as an argument, can we move past it? No, because we're not mindful of that. All of a sudden, I won't go on and on, but that is what mindfulness can help you with. Can I just, look, please let me just go on with this. The same husband, his belief, his thoughts are, my wife is wonderful, my wife is faithful, my wife takes care of the family, me and the family. That's what she does. My life with my wife is just wonderful. So the thought is, wonderful life with this woman. Everything is just happy. Everything is just wonderful. That's his reality, because the mind instructs the body. Happy life, wonderful life. Your wife is wonderful. Chemicals. Oh, my reality is just wonderful. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. The wife is having an affair with his brother that he hasn't known about for years, but that is what she's doing. Now, I'd just like to add, I don't have a brother, so this is not personal.
It's not personal, yeah.
Because a lot of people will say he knows that because that's happened to him, but I haven't got a brother. But I do argue with my wife. But anyway, that's another story. So the reality for year in and year out, my wife is wonderful. The thought, the chemicals change. It's a wonderful life. What happens when one day he finds out that the wife is having an affair with his brother? Do you think his reality changes, or does it remain, oh, what a wonderful woman? This false reality that his thoughts have convinced him what a wonderful woman this is. So that's his reality for years. Finds out. You think that reality, that false reality continues to be real?
He would question his thoughts, his mind, his choices, his decisions.
All to do with mindful. And this happens, this is in every aspect. There's only one reality that I have understood, and that is, I am here with you in this moment. In this moment, I know what is real. The past is just memory. And for a lot of people, the past is an unhappy memory, and that's what their mind continues to go to. So what people's well, I can talk about my memory. My memories are of abuse, of oppression, of unhappiness, of being told that I was no good. So my memories have been, why would you want to do that, Jeff? Nobody likes you. Nobody needs you. Nobody wants to hear from you, because that was my oppressive past. And that's what my cycle of oppression. Once I moved away from the people that oppressed me, I began to oppress myself. That's what happens. Another false reality. Your mind will tell you things that are untrue. And then you look into the future. Well, the future is going to be worse than the past, because now I'm filled with fear. Because my past has been so bad, now the future is just dreadful. I don't even want to think about the future. Why? Because I am no good. I am unlucky. I am rejected. I am going to be, well, but it's all a lie. It is all a lie. Mindfulness will prove. It has proven to me. It's all been a lie. And the benefit from finding out who I really am, the benefit of finding out that I am free from all the baggage that I was born into. Now, I'm even going to go further, if I can. Would you like to comment? Because
yes.
Look,
well, the further being how you came to mindfulness. How can people reach a state of mindfulness? How do they get there? How do they transform those beliefs that cause the struggle and cause the suffering? How do they get to that place of mindfulness?
What a great question, Jennifer. What a great question. I am now building a bridge for the viewers to be able to understand mindfulness.
Yes.
the first thing that the first way I became of understanding mindfulness is in a moment of craziness. What about this? What about that? What about this? I decided to write down every thought I had for 10 minutes. In that minute or 10 minutes of craziness, of unhappiness, of fear, of oppression, of depression, of unhappiness, I decided just, what's going on? So I wrote down every thought. And this is, I used to smoke and I used to drink Coke, and this is what 10 minutes of my thoughts were. I need a cigarette. The next thought, no, you don't, it's unhealthy. Oh, but I need a cigarette. I'm going to go to the shop and buy cigarettes. Is that a good decision? They're very unhealthy for you, and you have to go out and you have to go to the shop. Yeah, now look, I need a cigarette. I'm going to go to the shop. I'm going to go to the shop. I'm going to buy cigarettes, and I'm going to get a bottle of Coke and a Mars bar to go with the cigarettes, because that's what I always do. And then I think, look, if you do that, you're going to put on weight, you're going to do, and it just went. After 10 minutes, I looked at this conversation that I was unaware of, that I used to have, not just about cigarettes and Coke, I mean, about everything. And I understood how crazy it was in there, how crazy it was. It was insane, but I'd never thought about it before. Just writing it down and then reviewing those thoughts, and then from there it progressed very slowly. Mindfulness. Your mind. Do you want to sit? Look, I now no longer smoke. I don't drink. I went to 110 kilos. It's such a long story. Today, when the voice comes, Jeff, let's overeat. Everyone loves to eat. We do it 3 times a day. It's so pleasurable. It's so enjoyable. If you're not mindful of the joy of eating, and let's just eat a little bit more. Let's just have a little bit more cake. It's madness. And this is how you go to 110 kilos and your health suffers. And it's everything about overeat. I mean, I love eating, the joy of eating. It's such a joy. But for some people, their minds convince them, let's eat. What happens? Yes, the body says we love eating. Make chemicals, you're hungry, you have endless hunger. You've got to eat everything that you can, because for whatever reason. Mindfulness is the answer to all of mankind's ills. That is my experience.
So mindfulness can change our mind, change our emotions, change our health, effectively making all of it better. Is that what you're saying?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything, Jennifer. If I have time, I don't know how much time I got. I'd like to talk on one more thing, if that is possible.
Please.
The human body. If I could give you the keys to a convertible Porsche, like $1 million car, would that make you happy? Or is that a loaded question?
Not if it wasn't something that I really wanted and needed.
In equipment, all right, look,
yeah.
I understand what you're saying. That's not the convertible Porsche is not your thing, but let's use a convertible Porsche as a piece of equipment that is an outstanding piece of man-made equipment. Now, what I'm about to give you is keys to something much, much better, and that is your own body. Why do I say that? My body can repair itself in minor ways. If I cut myself, if I become ill, certain things within my body will act on my behalf to help me through sickness, viruses, a cut. Certain things will repair itself. Now, I don't know any piece of equipment really that can repair itself like I can repair itself.
Very good point. Yes.
I can repair myself. My body will regenerate and repair and regenerate every 7 years, every cell in my body, every one of them. That's scientifically proved, medically proved. That's what happens every 7 years. I become somebody new. Now this Porsche, it can't do that. It just sits there. It's doing that. It can't service itself. I am servicing, my body is servicing me. That's another point. Now here's another point. Now I can eat, if I choose, I can eat McDonald's. Please don't, I'm not being anti-McDonald, but or I can eat junk food. That I think that's a better way to say it. I can eat enormous amounts of unhealthy junk food. I can drink enormous amounts of unhealthy soft drinks. I can take drugs. I can do all these things, alcohol. I can stay up late. I can do all these things to a certain point. If I was to put in the new Porsche, the keys of the Porsche that I've given you, if I put in Coca-Cola in the tank, it wouldn't go a quarter of a mile. It would be finished. However, my body will allow me, because my body loves me so much, it'll allow me to abuse it with all the things that I've just previously said for as long as possible, until one day it says, look, Jeff, I have tried my best for you to keep you healthy, to keep you on your feet, to keep you doing what you want to do, until at some point, it could be 30, 40, 50, 60, it says, I'm sorry, I cannot continue with what you are doing. And you often hear people say, oh, I have lost my health. Well, what did they expect by all the abuse they put their body through? It will at that point give you an opportunity. I was diagnosed with late stage 3 lung cancer, and it said to me, look, we're not done yet. I will give you another chance if you care for me. So that's what I did. And now I'm in the best health of my life. Now I'm going to try to finish on this. Whilst I'm driving this convertible Porsche, what's happening? My mind is I'm looking in the front, I'm looking behind, left, right. My mind is using logarithms and calculus. Am I going faster? Am I putting the foot on the brake? It's doing all this stuff, controlling this wonderful piece of equipment. Like, it's doing all of that. Now, not only that, while it's doing that, I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm breathing, my lungs are putting oxygen through my body, my liver and kidneys is cleaning all of that. All of that is, my heart's beating. Everything is doing that while I'm doing everything else. That is our body. That is how wonderful our bodies are. And yet people can wake up in the morning and think, oh, I need coffee. Getting back to the coffee, I can't function without coffee. I think a lot of people have overlooked the specialness of their body. The body is a miracle. It's real magic. Once being mindful of this, I'm going to finish, Jennifer. I'm nearly 70 years old, 70. I've never felt better. I've never felt more joy. I've never felt more happiness. I've never felt the passion of life as I feel today. And I'll finish on this. It's all, for me, through mindfulness. There's no other answer. I'm on no drug. I'm a 30-year diabetic. I should already be very ill. The only drug I take is insulin. I haven't dealt with that yet. But I can tell you I've overcome stuff that people really have not been able to overcome, all through mindfulness. Amazing. Jennifer, what a great listener you are. Have you been trained in the art of listening?
Yes, I have indeed. And I enjoyed hearing your messages about mending the heart and the mind and the body through mindfulness. And I can see why you're so passionate about this, because life could have gone down a very different road, a whole different trajectory, based on those conditions of our mind and our emotions and our thoughts around us, our bodies, and life, and how we get through the day. So I can see why mindfulness is such a passion for you, and something that I know is being studied by many different people and practiced all over the world. And I hope too that hearing this, our viewers and listeners are receiving this message of mindfulness and want to look into that more, or maybe already practicing it. And I would love to hear anyone with comments about how mindfulness has supported their life or created change in their life. And if they're wanting to learn more, Jeffrey, and wanting to connect with you, how would they go about doing that?
Look, they can go to my webpage, betterhealth.community. And I'm willing to, look, my public presentations that I do around mindfulness are at no cost. The message is so important. My passion is to help as many people as possible. Every person that practices mindfulness and realizes what is available to them will help the planet.
Yes.
And will help all of us on the planet. The more people that feel the joy, the happiness, and the passion of life will help Mother Earth. That is my passion in life now. And
Yes.
that's why I wake up in the morning. That's what I am excited and passionate and joyful about doing. So if I can help somebody with information, please do contact me.